Hi there, and welcome to Let's Slow Down, a podcast for all of you who feel tired and stressed from this overwhelming world. Here we'll have fun, inspiring conversations about living life on our own terms and explore ways to ease the pace of our modern world, because life really is good when you're relaxed enough to be present for it. I'm your host, Anne-Marie Stolting, and I welcome you to this space where I hope to inspire you to slow down, because life is too short to let it go by in a blur. So take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi, everyone. It's the end of February, and on this cold but sunny day that I'm recording, I feel like there's a little glimmer of spring in the air. The snow is melting, the birds are chirping, and it feels like we're turning a corner. I think we're almost there. My family and I are coming off a busy weekend. Definitely busier than I'd like. It happens sometimes, but full of family and fun and also service. We had a really big outreach event with the food pantry ministry at our church, and it was really nice to come together with great people for a good cause. Things like that are always so worth it for me. It's a huge benefit that I found in simplifying my life. I'm able to be more intentional with my time and my energy and do things such as volunteer. I know I've talked about that a little bit before, but do things with more purpose and meaning. And, before, back when my family and I were all overscheduled and really tapped out, we would have probably been running around to multiple sporting events this past weekend with little room for much else. And although my children are still involved with extracurriculars, we've been able to become more well-rounded as a family and spend our time doing more than just youth sports so that we can connect with each other, with people in our community, with friends, and participate in other aspects of life. In simplifying, I've gotten rid of a lot of the clutter in my home as well. And I still have quite a ways to go, but it's another thing that's made a real impact on my life and given me more room to breathe. So I want to talk about decluttering today, as we're doing a little decluttering series here for the next month. So I've been on my decluttering journey for, I guess, over a decade now, and I'm still learning and working on it every day. Clutter is one of my biggest barriers to slowing down and living a simple life. It tends to distract me, make me feel stressed out, and prevents me from staying calm and focused. So decluttering has been a very important piece of the puzzle for me. This is not something I'll ever arrive at, but more of a lifestyle at this point. It ebbs and flows, and I go through stages where I feel much more motivated at times to pare down and simplify. And then, as life gets busy and stuff creeps back in, I do it again. But I've learned so much along the way about how to maintain an amount of stuff that feels manageable. And I want to share a few easy ways to embark on your decluttering journey that will help you find more freedom in your home and in your life, if that's what you crave. Spring is right around the corner, and this is a perfect time to do this. So 5 easy tips to get clear on your decluttering journey and hopefully get started right away if that's something you want to do. The first is really to define your ideal space and feeling. Before you start decluttering, get clear on how you want your home to feel, what you want to use the space for. Do you want a peaceful retreat, a clutter-free space for creativity, or maybe for working out or yoga, cooking? It's a lot easier to start preparing a meal when you don't have clutter all over your kitchen. Knowing your goal helps guide your decisions. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind the whole way, but especially as you begin. Maybe even write it down somewhere or find a picture of your ideal home or room for motivation. I want my home to be a refuge that I can relax in at the end of the day and on the weekends. My own peaceful oasis that I can come home to. I like minimal but cozy. So for me, that looks like sparse furniture, clear, organized closets and counters, just clear of anything but the necessities. However, I like to pair that with cozy, homey touches, like pictures on the walls, soft blankets and pillows on the couch, things like that, so that it still feels homey. I don't want it to feel cold or sterile. Think about your space in your home. And the next piece of it is to identify your clutter threshold, just as Dana explained last week. We all have different tolerances for clutter. Pay attention to when your space starts to feel overwhelming. If it feels like it's too much, it's time to let some things go. And you can play with this. You might be surprised what you learn here. You might find that clearing some things off of a full busy shelf or a counter feels a lot easier on your eyes, your mind. I just think it makes such a huge difference. So these things might not be as big of a task as you think. It literally might just be clearing off a counter. And you may start to experience some of these benefits and some of the perks from decluttering. My third tip would be to start small, and that will let you build momentum. Decluttering doesn't have to be an all-day event. Pick a small area, something that will make a big difference in your life, something you use and frequent often. So a drawer, a shelf, one surface, one counter, and start to experience the relief of a clutter-free space. And this was key for me because when I first started, I feel like I started this journey so many times and kind of failed or was too hard on myself and quit. And I just kept coming back to it over and over again. But I've learned a lot of things. And initially, I used to take like a whole day. I'd feel, I'd wake up and I feel motivated. And half the time, it would get so much worse before it got better because I just remember doing this in my basement with all the kids' stuff. I literally made such a mess going through everything. And then I ran out of energy. I ran out of steam before I could put the room back together, put all the pieces back together of the games and the puzzles and everything. And sometimes it stayed like that for a while. That was honestly so discouraging. So I find that I'm most successful at this when I break it into manageable little chunks. You can always do more if you still have time and energy left, tackle another small space. I want to add something else that Dana mentioned last week that I thought was really helpful was just to start with the garbage. Go for an easy win. Just grab a trash bag, go through the room or wherever you're working and just throw the trash out first. We all have garbage lying around, especially if we have kids in our home. So by clearing that out, you don't have to organize that. You just throw it out. Go through, throw out the trash first. And there you go. You're one step closer. So start small. And another tip I have is to use the 1-year rule, or maybe even 1-season rule, depending on what it is. If you haven't used whatever the thing is in the last year, then chances are you don't use it and you won't miss it. Be honest with yourself. Throw out what no longer serves you if it doesn't work anymore or it's broken or just, super old or rusty or something. Donate it if it still has life left in it. Try to be good, respect the earth. But if you aren't using it, don't keep it. If you're not completely ready to get rid of it, try storing it somewhere else. You certainly don't need to leave something out in a main space or in like a main closet if you hardly ever use it. Put it away, keep only the necessities out so that your closets, your drawers, your counters, your cabinets, all of those things are really just full of the things that you use on a regular basis. It makes everything flow better, I promise you. Things are easier to find. Your space is much more able to stay organized. I just think everything flows a lot smoother. And lastly, my 5th tip is really to make decluttering a lifestyle, not a one-time thing. It's not something we do once and is done forever. Clutter accumulates over time. As long as we are living and breathing, we are consuming. So we have to embrace decluttering as an ongoing process. Regularly reassess your spaces. Ends of season are a great time to do this. Let go of what no longer adds value to your life. You don't use it, let it go. In the world of Amazon Prime, it is way too easy to just click buy now without giving it a second thought. And they do that on purpose. We all know that. There's actually a pretty eye-opening documentary that's fairly new to Netflix. I just watched it recently called Buy Now. Maybe I'll review it in the coming weeks because it just really makes you think. And it goes into the sustainability piece of the consumerism and just how quick we are to buy things now. We used to at least have to drive to a store to make a purchase. And now we can click a button and have that item, even the same day. So it can be dangerous. It can be super convenient, but it can also be really dangerous. So maybe I'll go more into that documentary. I highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out yet. It's just a great motivator for a more minimal type of lifestyle. If you do a quick Google search, you'll find so much on this topic. Decluttering really is such a benefit to our well-being. The research has consistently demonstrated a significant connection between cluttered environments and higher stress levels. Clutter can adversely affect mental health. It can lead to increased anxiety, trouble focusing, heightened cortisol levels. And I feel like I've experienced all of those things personally. WebMD goes as far as to say as disorganized environments can impair cognitive functions, making it challenging to concentrate and process information. And this cognitive overload can lead to decreased productivity and increased feelings of stress. I know we could all use a dose of extra productivity and a lot less stress. So if you've had enough of this winter and you're ready to clear out and just prepare for a new season, consider doing a little declutter and see what it can do for your heart and your soul and your mind. It has had such a profound impact on my life, and I hope that it will for you too. Thanks for listening today, and we'll continue our decluttering series next week. Have a good one. I hope you've enjoyed our journey together. Please take a moment to rate and review the show. It really helps us grow and reach others looking to slow down too. Wishing you simplicity and ease in your world, and I'll see you back here next week.